What's going on, guys? So today on this SHOKY Quickie, we're taking a look at something new. Well, finally out at least, from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, and it is the Yellow Ranger. You have to forgive me, my light is over there. Yellow Ranger. Still getting used to shooting on the new desk. Either way, so this was kind of a long time coming. In the literal sense, because it seemed to take way too long to finally come into stock. Some places came out super early, other places, like BBTS, just now came out. And of course, my final MMPR Ranger, as it stands, at least from the original set now. Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, sort of playing games there. But we do have a Rocky in Zeo. We do have an Adam in Zeo that's coming. Just pre-ordered that today. And Aisha, presumably, we'll also get. But it'll be cool to be able to swap their heads out, so to speak. We're like the ninja set. Assuming they don't give us a whole nother ninja set. So there's packaging, yellow and everything like that in there. On the back side, you get her there with her power daggers. I believe that's what they were, right? Power daggers, power staff, power bow. Okay, so the head sculpt. I remember seeing initial images of the head sculpt, and it was kind of iffy, but I think it does look like Toy-Tran, like very, very decently. Now, we'll say that whoever painted the morpher clearly was off, but I think what happened is the more, at least on this, well, one of the power daggers, you can see her morpher is offset, like the belt is turned, which you can fix, but I think what happened is that the machine that does it, I always say a person, but the machine that does it was offset, so everything is off, but just a little bit, like up into the right. So let's see here, it looks like her leg is twisted, not bent, but twisted sideways. Whoa, she has a different hand. What? They gave her a karate chopping hand and a thing hand, so it's almost like her original stance. And then, because they love me oh so much, they gave me multiple starfish, or urchins, I should say. I get extra urchins to play with, but I dig the head sculpt. The Ranger body looks fine. It's probably identical to Kimberly's. Well, obviously, we'll check that out. I think that as time went on, they got better with their digital head sculpt and face paint. So, like, I think the greatest offenders are Billy and Kimberly. Of course, that looks almost nothing like Amy Jo Johnson. So hopefully they'll give us a 2.0 head at some point. But once again, mostly happy to have the power weapons. And now I can consider to have my Rangers standing together with the Power Blaster assembled like they fire it. I think that'll be pretty cool. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I will say she has the normal power, what is it? Power bolt? Not this thing. Blade Blaster. I knew I was going to get there eventually. It's been a super long week, guys. Christmas time is upon us, but for the most part, good to go. Also, this makes me really Jones for the movie, the original movie style suits from the Lightning Collection. I think that would be really cool because I miss the eyes that pop up on the head. So let's flip it around and check this Yellow Ranger out. So let's look at the Yellow Ranger and get her out of her plastic prison here. And of course we get the ever-present weird sea urchin-y things. You know what? My lights are all screwy. Hold on. Whoa. Okay, so sea urchins. It's a little bit better. It's got her hands, which are very specific, which is cool. Power daggers, which are good. Blade Blaster. Trini head. And finally, plastic birthday. And right now I'm telling you, I'm kind of having a hard time filming this because the yellow is like so bright. Oh wow, her finger is so jacked. Oh, wow. Okay. Alright, so let's lower this down, get all this stuff out of the way. Okay, so, wow, I'm having a hard time. Give me a second, adjust. Because I had to light the Lord Draken picture, so I gotta adjust things here. There we go. I guess that's better. Okay, so as it goes, I need to straighten up her belt. There we go. And you can tell that the morpher and everything was definitely not in the right spots. It's super not lined up, but it's okay. It's better than the Zach one that was better, or way worse off. Spindly little arms, so it is what it is. Presumably, except for lacking the skirt, this is probably the exact same mold from the Pink Ranger. Looks fine, but of course, being a girl, little skinnier, always got to worry about the extra joints and stuff not being good. But definitely doesn't have the problems that the original Hasbro, especially the metallic Hasbros, did. Of course, the classic Saber-tooth Tiger head sculpt looks good. No real defects that I can tell. Disc hinge head probably. Tiny little butterfly shoulders. No, it's super stiff. Got to be careful. Don't want to break nothing off. That bicep rotation form that's painted, which is interesting. It's not molded in yellow. It's painted yellow here. I mean, it's probably all white, if I had to guess. And then this finger that is just ridiculous. Obviously put in the machine wrong, as it were. I'm just going to go ahead and skip to the blade blaster. And we'll just shove that right in there. And you've got T-mounted ball joint hips, of course. Chorus line, good there. Thigh rotation, double jointed knee, like you do. Boot rotation, which is always appreciated in my mind. Toe point up and back, always like one click, so it's just super annoying. They need to add more ratchets to those feet because it gets to a point where it's either just a hair too far forward, a hair too far back, and then you have a Ranger that doesn't stand. So let's look at her accessories. And we do have her hands, so kind of open karate chop, and then this tiger claw hand. So this is the position she tended to be in. Probably will do that to some degree, but right now I'm thinking I'm going to go with a very specific type of pose for my Rangers, at least for the time being. So those swap in and out fairly easy. I think that's more or less the pose, but of course can't really do that pose and hold position. I'm sure I know it's not 100%. I know it should be something slightly different, but I'm trying here. I'm trying. And of course, you gotta have the human face sculpt, which is pretty good, if I'm honest. The looks like the eye paint is a little bit wonky on mine, but it is what it is. One thing that bothers me about these is the extra flashing that's almost always under the chin. Here it doesn't look too bad, but it's pretty good. Trini. And of course, you know, rest in peace. And of course, there we go with the actual head sculpt on there. Looks pretty good. Looks like yellow is kind of the hardest one to shoot. Looks like it's coming off way more like of a neon yellow than it is. It's more of a just straight up like canary. And of course, you got the nice helmet off to the side. One thing I want to show you off. Sometimes I've been just hanging the helmet off the handle, and it actually does pretty good if you get them to stand. For the longest time, I had Kimberly's that way. So just a fun display thing. It would also be cool to have like a command center counter with everybody's helmet just kind of laid out. So that'd be kind of fun, in my opinion. And of course, we come down to the power daggers, which are pretty run-of-the-mill. You know, you do have the Saber-tooth Tiger logo there, though that should probably be gold. While they use their individual weapons fairly often in fights, later on they just sort of got phased out, but they're pretty cool. And, you know, very similar to Billy's power staff, or power, was it a staff? Yeah, I guess. Once it broke down into the smaller weapons. And yeah, she can hold them. Did have to do a little bit of the finger prying off the bat to get those to work, but you know, that's pretty cool. But now that we have those, I can finally do something I've wanted to do since I was a kid and have never had a really good chance of, you know, actually making happen. All right. So if I was a much cooler YouTuber, I would find a way to actually make this work in a really cool animation. But, you know, I don't have that. So let's see. We got the power axe and the power bow, which kind of plugs in right here from what I can tell. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna, yeah, like that. I'm actually just making an assumption on that part. I'm fairly certain that's where those went. And then the dagger is right beside that. Probably mattered. Gotta make sure that stays on there. And then the power sword, which just lays in place here. Wow. You see, that shows how out of alignment everything is. Because that's supposed to rest right there. So there we go. For the first time in my life, I get at least a fully colored and assembled power blaster. Now I guess these could all be rotated. I thought they were flat. But it is what it is. So now, of course, if you bought the SDCC set with the Red Ranger and the Gold Ranger, the Jason 2-pack, you actually got this on its own pre-assembled, which is a neat thing. But the fact that we've gotten, now at this point, we've gotten two versions of the axe, I guess in theory, technically two power swords, depending on which version of Jason you picked up. And of course, now there's a new version of the power bow that's in a new silver color. So that makes it different, but that's actually very, very cool. And then of course you get the blasters all pointed forward. I do digs it. I digs it a lot. Now, the hard part is going to be whether or not I can get these into a very cool stance after the fact. And there it is. That iconic pose. It does look good, not gonna lie. A little bit wonky because the hands don't necessarily work the same way they normally would, of course. Though it never really occurred to me, I was looking at the picture. So the pink and yellow ranger are technically supporting these two. So usually, you know, her hands on his back and vice versa, and then holding onto Jason in the middle for support because he's got to fire the big blaster. And of course, I double checked. The blades were actually supposed to be vertical, like I accidentally did it. But this is exciting. So for me, I might actually end up changing the overall pose on the shelf to doing this just because it's awesome. And just to throw it out there, here's our Tommy White Ranger. And my Green Ranger did actually just come in to BBTS, so we'll be getting that sometime soon. Trying to find him. And then because we need our team from the command center, there's our alpha. And something I did not do, but it's okay, would be the Yellow Ranger from Legacy line, who is clearly far more well endowed, less subtle, you know, obviously. But I still dig the Morpher more on the Legacy line. So guys, of course, if you are a completionist, you have to have the Yellow Ranger. It's a must. You need to have it so you can have all of this stuff in, you know, a thing. It's kind of cool because other than Legacy, like actually, technically speaking, yeah, that's right. Okay, so I have all the Legacy Rangers, but without the weapons. The only way you got the weapons was with the metallic Rangers, and they could not combine, nor did you get the broken down version of Billy's staff. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, the Lightning Collection, while it has its faults, you know, a lot of quality control issues here and there, things like that, that really make it a little bit weird, especially when it comes to small paint apps like the helmet here that's a little bit wonky, his morpher, certain things like her morpher being slightly out of whack, you know, Jason needing a little bit more paint on his helmet, things like that. But for the most part, the Lightning Collection is actually doing really good, also making them look more like real people, not like the ridiculous over-the-top superheroes. Though now I really do want civilian bodies. You know, it's something we're sorely lacking. We have civilian heads, but you almost never got them wearing their ranger outfits without their helmets. A little bit in the latter half of MMPR before everybody left. Now I do have a new pink ranger to look at, but it leaves me a little bit to desire. So we'll be looking at her sometime soon. I know you're probably getting a little Power Rangered out, but hey, it's all coming out right now, and I'm fine with that. But now I have to reorganize the shelf to include a new Ranger plus this new pose. But guys, let me know what you think down below. Are you excited that you can finally make the old school Power Blaster, as it were? And of course, if you're just now completing your MMPR Lightning Collection, let me know down below. But I'll catch you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on nerding.